Teaching Crypto Mondays. Right, we're live. All right, everybody, welcome. Welcome to No Long Ting. So, Gabriel Gay, big up yourself. Nino, big up yourself. Devil Nuring, big up yourself. Abba Yao, big up yourself. Ahmed Umar, big up yourself. Al Hassan Aliyu, big up yourself. Chibueze, big up yourself. Chris Back, big up yourself. Cosmos Serial, David M. Yo, my boys in Josie. Hey, big up yourself. We all shop, Mfana. Big up yourselves. Dominic Butler, big up yourself. Dante, big up yourself. Dorcas. Yo, Dante, big up yourself. I saw you on LinkedIn today. Yo, bro, you're doing mad things, heavy representing, yeah? Big up yourself, yeah? AGO4, Evan. Oh, that's our Evan. Let me add our Evan on the spotlight, guys. Give me 1 second. That's our Evan right there. Pazui, Favor, big up yourself. I've actually been seeing you making heavy moves on the Discord. Big up, like that's what we are here for, building community, interacting and doing all that. Hap Ho, big up yourself. Emanuela, yo, Jason C, and Lucia, I see you, boy. Camilla, big up yourself. Camilla, I know you're always bringing it heavy down on rotation. Today, we're expecting the same. Marcio Alwatch, sorry. That's my home girl, straight representing Nairobi. NAIOB, Nairobi, 254 in the building. Kwenye nyumba. Yeah, that means we in the house. Mohammed Idris, Najatu, Nestor Campos. Hey, cabron. Buenos dias, cabron.
Buenos dias.
Obakeng, my boy, all the way from the Northwest Province in South Africa. Big up yourself, Mfana. You looking sharp, my man. Oduma, big up yourself. Olanreju, big up yourself, Oga. Olanreju. Olanreju, you have, oh, there's 2 Olanrejus. Okay, that's interesting. I just realized this today. Precious, big up yourself from Lesotho. Samuel, big up yourself. Sunaina, Therese Gomez, Trisha, Bloody, Vongat, Yaya, Zinga. It's now 7-Eleven, like the store in America. You know how we do. Let's go, Gabi. Oh, wait, Leon is in the building as well. Leon, let me pin you up, my man. Mandem in the house. All right. All right, cool. So we have everybody in the building. The building's hot. Let's start.
All right. So well, I should say it's good afternoon here, all the way from Barbados. So good afternoon, good morning, good night, wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to the No Long Ting Boot Camp. So first of all, we got to get an energy up in the building. We had our shout outs from our founder, Brian, from Blockchain Let's Group, Crypto Mondays Caribbean, and now I need to hear from you, NLT participants. So if you are ready to learn today, drop ready in the chat, all right? I need to see READY in the chat if you are ready to learn today and you are fired up to hear from our guests. So first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Gabrielle Gay. I am the Director of Educational Initiatives at the wonderful Crypto Mondays Caribbean and No Long Ting Initiative. And I am the founder of the Erling Bradshaw Foundation. And it has truly been a pleasure to partner for this incredible, revolutionary educational program in WebChain and Block3 with Blockchain Let's Group. And as you know, at the Erling Bradshaw Foundation, we produce the largest, most awarded, first of their kind law and technology education programs across the entire globe. But as we are introducing, we have to get into who's going to be here with us today. So first of all, let's say welcome back to our mentors who've been with us prior. So Nino, where are you? And while we wait for Nino to come on the screen, yes, I'm seeing ready in the chat. Okay. Our NLT participants, let me tell you something. They are so excited. We love you guys so much for coming through every single week. So we have Nino with us today. And of course, you know and love Nino. And he is here, Nino and Evan, and they're here from Fifth Works. And as you know, Fifth Works is leading the charge for all things Web3, blockchain. They are at the front, key stakeholders, and Nino will be taking you through what we call the Ideathon.
Yo, and Gabby, Kish is in the building as well.
Yeah. Shout out as well for coming through and being such an incredible part and partner in this wonderful boot camp. So, you know, Ideathon, as the name suggests, we want to hear from you. We've been pouring into you, Sarah, Adela, all of these incredible leaders and mentors have been pouring into you over the past week. And now with this Ideathon, we want to hear from you. What do you think the future should look like for Web3 and blockchain? But I'm not going to get into it too much. I'm going to leave that to Nino to come sprinkle his idea magic later on in the program. So we have some new faces with us today. So the screen is mirrored, so I have to say on my right, everybody put some claps in the chat and say, welcome, Devon!
Man, let me say this. You guys' energy is insane. I need this like every day in my weekly team huddles for real. Like,
let's talk, Devon. Let's talk for real. You know,
I'm like ready to go dancing, ready to run a marathon, all of that, man. Like, dang, I like this.
I feel bad because
the energy.
I'm expected to like match that.
That's what it's about. About education. All right. And we're passionate, so excited to have you here, Devon, with us today. So I know all of our participants must be wondering, who is Devon Urich? Don't worry about it. We'll tell you. Devon is the Senior Manager of Operational Risk at iHeartMedia. And he is a distinguished executive known for his strategic vision and dynamic leadership. With over 14 years, okay? Because remember, we're bringing the best for you here. In financial services, compliance, and risk management, Devon consistently drives innovation across highly regulated industries. Devon is also a featured writer and an advocate for sustainability and emotional intelligence, bringing these passions into his work. His collaborative approach and communication skills make him a powerful force in navigating today's complex regulatory landscape, while his role as a passionate innovator and motivator helps drive collective success. So let's drop some claps in the chat for Devon. Welcome, Devon. It's such amazing opportunity and privilege to have you here with us at No Long Ting. So we also have with us Mr. Leon Hurd. Let me pin Leon.
I love this energy, Gabrielle. I really do.
Thank you. And we love you. And thank you so much for coming here with us. So who is Mr. Leon Hurd? So he is a senior regulatory lawyer who specializes in digital assets, blockchain, financial regulation, financial crime, compliance, and investigations. He is the co-founder and director of Cyber Sandbox Limited, which provides strategic assistance to businesses where he aligns innovation and regulation. He is a bastion of academic excellence when it comes to all things compliance. He holds an LLM in international corporate governance, and he is really the man when it comes to discussing all things regulatory compliance. And of course, in our lab, we're also going to have looking for Keeson. Keeson, where are you? There you are.
Hi there.
Kish and Mike in the building.
Greg, you know, coming back again. He was
Blockchain
here from
Sensei.
as well, from Blockchain Sensei. I wish we could have the bong in the back, right? But we didn't.
Yeah. No, I think if we
And
swap,
he is
if
our
we swap
sensei,
over to
and
the
as
new
the name
platform,
suggests, Blockchain Sensei, they are the masters of all things blockchain and education. So, ladies and gentlemen, one more time in the chat, put your hands together for all of our esteemed facilitators today. And thank you so much for being with us. And now I'll hand it back over to Brian and Nino to continue the program.
Nino, I think the ideathon and the SMART goals is your brainchild. So please handle this. Let me not misrepresent anything.
Somebody else. I can't follow that. I can't follow that energy. I need somebody else to take over for me. No.
I'm
Can
just
you
going
all
to
hear
use
me all
that as
right?
I'm just going to use that as an introduction to every time I have a meeting now. Just go ahead and say that before it starts.
That's good. So volume levels all good, right? Everyone can hear me?
Yeah.
Because I've had problems in the past. I don't want to repeat the black screen that I had last time either. So, all right, I'm going to share my content. I'm just going to pull up just some things that I had prepared for this class, specifically the ideathon. We're going to go through just the basics of, you're being attacked with all of this theory, and we want you guys to be able to apply it now. So for the next week, we're going to have more discussions, more fine tuning your questions, more you, like Gabby so eloquently stated. We can only give you so much information before it starts to leak out and you haven't applied it to anything. So we want you to have an idea. We want you to start forming that idea and then asking for help and how can we support you in your idea. That's the whole plan. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen after I pull up one thing. I just have to pull up the actual template so that I don't have to jump back and forth. Sorry, my finger. I'm sorry, everybody. All right. There we go. Ideathon. Okay. So I've got everything I need. I'm gonna pull up fifth work, and then I'll share my screen. I wish that Zoom allowed me to share just like my browser. I know that I could do that with Teams previously. So, all right, everyone should be able to see my screen now. So we talked a little bit about SMART goals. Hopefully you know what they are. We're gonna do a very quick run. What's the word? Reiteration of what we've talked about. So the fisherman's market. So SMART goals, it's an acronym. It stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And I really like these because if you're missing any one of these aspects, chances are your goal will actually fail. So this is very important for your idea. This is very important for the ideathon, and it's mandatory. You will submit something in order to pass this boot camp. What this is for, this is not for us. This is for you. Just have an idea, to have something that is yours, to have something that you can work on. Oops, I meant to minimize myself. So you can have something that you're working on. My face is back again. Anyway, so I'll start at the beginning. So specific, what exactly do you want to accomplish? And I've had some people reaching out to me. It's like, hey, I want to build this, or I want to build this, and I want to build this. I would suggest you start with the problem. What is the problem that exists that you're trying to solve? That's what helps you be more specific with your goal. So instead of saying, I want to start a market for fishermen, you say, I want to create a website, takes multiple currencies, including crypto, and by doing footwork and hanging posters at already existing physical markets. Like that's how I'm going to create a website. That's how I'm going to market it, right? Measurable. How are you going to track progress to know that you're actually going to achieve your goal? So I'm going to measure my progress by tracking the number of new clients and the new sales that I have every month. Is your goal realistic? I know a lot of you have been talking about voting, right? Chances are none of you have any oversight over voting. It's just a simple fact, isn't it? Unless you are involved, know the people who make decisions on voting or are networked in some way in that process, you're not going to be able to have that impact that you want. Theoretically, yeah, you could solve that problem. But theoretically, a lot of things could happen. I don't want a theoretical goal. I want you guys to grab onto something that is real, is something you can get after. This is not a theoretical discussion. This is, I am going to build something to make my community better. That's why we're doing this. This is why you are going to be awarded with, money, with help, with this network, with all of these developers. You are going to build something. And I feel like you need to understand that this is a real thing. You're not just going to a class. You're not just, learning what blockchain is. You're not just learning, the legalities of blockchain. You are going to define a goal. Something is wrong in your community, something that you have oversight over, something that you can measure how you're going to get after it. And it's relevant. Your matter should align with other goals. It should align with your community. Why is this specific goal that you're going after important? So this goal is important because it increases revenue, will enable us to expand our product line, grow the business, improve the community. Like for Fifth Work, expand education into communities that currently don't have proper education. Establish tracking for education. Like we'll get into Fifth Work later. So what is a deadline or time frame for achieving this goal? So I tell people all the time that I work with, it's like, hey, we should get after this sometime. That sometime never comes. It is very rare, unless we meet again and then specifically set a time to do something, it doesn't happen. So there will be, as part of your ideathon, this SMART goal that you're going to build, and it's going to be time bound. You're going to say, within 1 month, I want to have this. Within 2 months, I want to have this. Within a year, I want to have this. So an example, a couple examples. So instead of saying, I want to create a fishing market, right? It's like, I want to increase my company's revenue by 10% over the next 3 months by implementing targeted social media advertising and refining our customer outreach, which will be tracked through monthly sales reports, right? Sounds a little bit better than I want to make a fisher's market. Or I will launch an online store within the next 4 months with a marketing campaign running 2 weeks prior to launch. And I aim to break even in sales or cost within the first year. I would like to see a little more specific than that personally, but that's a realistic goal. It gives you 4 months to launch something. You have 3.5 months to prepare a marketing campaign, 2 months to run it. And then you have a year that you're going to work at it. So, this framework helps break down your goals into smaller, massageable steps. And I say massageable because you're going to have a goal and you're going to hit a roadblock and you're going to have to shift a little and you're going to have to get after it. And then you're going to have to shift a little. And what you started out with is probably not what you end up with. Even Fifth Work was like that. I also want to be realistic with you guys. Most companies don't make money right away. You're not going to start with sales. You're not going to start with a market share. You're not going to start with customers, clients. These are things you have to build. How are you going to support your company or yourself while you're doing this? So that's part of this ideathon. And we prepared this for you. So the worksheet. This is what the worksheet is going to ask you to do. This is the template for the ideathon. And Brian has this. He's going to get it out to you guys. I'm going to get your emails later so that I can add you to Fifth Work and invite you to the actual course itself so you can take the finals. But these are the questions that we're going to ask. Your problem statement. Wait, before I get in that, any questions on SMART goals? I know we're about to start prayer soon here too.
It's prayer time in Nigeria.
Yeah, I know that's why I'm going to go to questions, and then instead of continuing on, my alarm's going off too.
Shamsuddin has a question.
Yes, please.
Oh, and before Shamsuddin asks the question, so is it correct to say that once you're finished with your presentation, we're going to open it up to become a guest lounge? Because
oh yeah, for sure,
not an instructional session.
I wish that I had more time with the guests beforehand so I could, feel free to interject at any time. I know that they're just jumping in, and I don't want to just sit here and hear myself talk.
Make it a proper workshop and get everybody's input. It's fine. It can be a creative mess. So let's just have a creative mess of session. Yeah.
And also, Fifth Work's not infallible. I mean, if you see something, you're like, man, they really need to address the legalities
Yeah.
of their like add that. We can add that to the template. We can add that to the ideathon. So, I mean, this is just, from my perspective, things that I needed to get after when I was making my company. And this is kind of how I continue to drive and organize my thoughts, It's something I continually massage and revisit. But I'm not a lawyer, so please, please interject your thoughts, your suggestions. I'm all ears.
Okay.
But any
Thanks, Nino.
questions? No, of course.
So for the guys who have prayer time in Nigeria, oh yeah, I'll just give Nino and Devon. So Nino, Devon, you're new to this. So we have our students in Nigeria who are Muslim brothers and sisters. We have to excuse them for about 10, 15 minutes to go for their prayers, but we are not going to go offline. We're just going to stay within and take questions from the students who remain. And then when our Muslim brothers and sisters come back, they'll just catch up with us, okay? So the Muslim brethren, Al Hassan and the rest, we allow you your time to proceed with your prayers. We look forward to meeting you when you come back. Thank you so much.
Oh, I meant to share full screen.
Okay, so Nino, back to you then.
Yes. No, what was the question? I didn't hear the question.
Yeah, so Shamsuddin, let me unmute you. Then Chris also has a question. Oh, and to all the panelists, it's now open season for everybody. So if you wanna address the question as well and piggyback on each other's answers, it's fine. So Kish, Mike, Leon, Devon, Gabby, Evan as well, and it's open season now. So Shamsuddin, I've unmuted your mic. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you sound and clear, Mr. Brian.
Okay, please proceed then.
All right. Thank you very much for everything.
Yeah.
My question is specifically about the SMART goal. I need a concise and a literal the definition of what the SMART goal is all about. This is the question. Thank you.
So a SMART goal is, in a sense, a plan. It's how am I going to achieve something that I want to do. The SMART is just the acronym is just guidelines for how to create a goal, a plan. How are you going to outline? It kind of defines your problem, walks you through how you're going to get after it, and gives you a timeline to actually hold you accountable. There's lots of YouTube videos out there if you need more explanation. I'm sure there's probably things in whatever your native language is, if it's not English. For those, I know that there are some students that are struggling with English. I apologize. I probably shouldn't have chosen an acronym, but this works for me. So I want to give you the tools that I've been successful with. I don't know what else to get.
I think,
Okay.
sorry, just to add, Nino, it might be helpful because I know you have the notes there
Mhm.
of the acronym itself and its meanings, to just throw that in the chat so everyone can take that away and maybe use that with their notes.
They're gonna get this in so this will actually be spelled out for them in the template that Brian has.
Okay, amazing. That's great.
So they will get this. This will be a template that we expect back from them on the 28th. They have until the 28th. No, I'm sorry. When do they? They have to submit this by the 25th, I think. So 3 days.
They can submit it over the weekend, let's
Yeah.
say Saturday, yeah?
But the winners are announced.
And then we'll announce the winners during graduation on the Monday, the 29th. If they need extension of time, we could consider that as well.
Yeah, it's not again, this is for you. It's not for us. It helps us, obviously. This is what we do. We educate people. But, we want you to have something real. We want you to have a product. We want you to have a solution to a problem. This is just our way of holding you accountable and also rewarding you for your time that you've spent developing this idea. And there's more to it. not just the smart part, but I don't want to get into that too much without the rest of the students here.
Right. Thanks,
So
Nino. Devon
no,
and
of course.
Gabby have their hands up. Leon, your mic is also unmuted. So you,
I believe Gabby had her hand up before me, so
yeah,
she can
Gabby,
go
please.
first.
Yeah.
Hi guys. So one of the beautiful things about learning, right, is that it's really about taking these concepts, because I know sometimes blockchain and Web3 can seem so esoteric, right? And so out there. But really, it's about taking these concepts and applying it to real life. So, for example, for many of you are asking about how do I create a SMART goal when it comes to blockchain, Web3, and solutions. One of the main ways that for me personally that I've learned and digested more esoteric concepts is by actually relating it to something in real life. So let me explain. So right now we have here, right, as Nino wonderfully explained, a SMART goal. So how could you relate to something like this in real life while you're planning your actual SMART goal for submission? So what is something, let's say this right now, this is what we call the winter arc, right? Winter arc refers to a time period for the new year, but everybody tries to get their life right. So when it comes to goals, right, one of the main goals, one of the most cliche goals that people have in life usually is weight loss or to get healthy, right? Everyone likes to start a fitness journey at some point in time. So what I like to do is teach, especially when teaching students or anything like that, to take concepts, as I said, that seem a little more difficult and related to real life. So for example, let's say you're building a business, right? And I need you guys to follow me in the chat, right? Follow me in the chat. You're building a business and you have to you're giving work, so you're giving NLT your idea. So the first thing is, let's relate it to a fitness journey. What exactly do you want to achieve? So if you were trying to, for example, lose weight or gain weight, you would say, I want to lose 10 pounds or I want to gain 10 pounds. So that's specifically what you want to achieve. With a blockchain or Web3 solution, what is it that you want to achieve in your community? For example, you could say, I want to achieve greater education for blockchain and Web3 in my community. That is a specific goal. So for example, in this case, you would be focused on education. If that makes sense, put yes in the chat, right? If that makes sense. So that's your first specific goal. Then when it comes to, oh, right. So we were saying yes, that they understand, right? Exactly. Can you bring that back?
There you go. Of course. I'm sorry.
That makes sense, right? So just how you would say, I want to lose 10 pounds, or I want to gain 10 pounds, your first specific goal is, I want to create more education for blockchain and Web3 in my community. Good. So measurable. How would you track this, right? That's the next step. So if you were losing or gaining weight, right, 9 times out of 10, you might have an app on your phone. You may have, you may go to the gym, you may go on the scale to try to see and measure what's going on. Or you may even take photos, right? Everybody's seen a good before and after picture, right? On social media, right? Drop yes if you've had. So you may take a picture before you started, and then you'll take a picture at the end to see the progress. So relating it back to blockchain now on Web3, how are you going to track this? Are you going to bring someone who works in data and measurement to help you? Are you going to do questionnaires? Are you going to do surveys? Are you going to do interviews of the people that you're educating? How are you going to track the progress? And I'll do one more because I know Devin has to speak as well. And then achievable. How realistic is this goal? So let's use our health example again. You know, some people, you know, all of us, oh, I want to lose 80 pounds in 2 weeks, or I want to gain 15 pounds of muscle in 2 weeks. Now, unless you're superhuman, Avenger style, Super Saiyan, right? That is not necessarily the most realistic. You have to have a process, whether losing or gaining, you have to have a process in your health journey, right? So you want to know, is this realistic? So let's bring it back now to Web3 and blockchain. You have to ask yourself, let's say you want to educate 1,000 people. That's your goal. 1,000 people educated on blockchain and Web3. You have to ask yourself, what is a realistic time period that I can do this in for my community? What are the tools that I have? Am I going to use social media that may reach more people? Do I have the money to run ads that can reach people faster? Or do I have to do it more organic where I go, in person, door to door? So that may be a little slower. So maybe I may have to put a more realistic perspective when seeking to educate these people in my community. If that makes sense, put sense, SENSE in the chat, right? Okay, great.
I don't want to mess up the screen.
These are realistic ways, right? That the SMART goals become more real to you, right? So but once you keep that mentality, it goes from being this big scary thing that you have to hand in to actually realizing that this is how you operate in real life anyway. You're just applying it to the blockchain.
Thanks, Gabby. Devon,
Exactly.
Leon,
Well,
Keith?
well said.
Yeah.
I'll just chime in here really quick. Some important points have been shared. So here's my thought. So you want to get into the mentality of one making your goals attainable, but yet you want to allow yourself to be challenged. We have to realize that some of the largest mountains in the world weren't climbed in a day, and it's important to really make that measurable and achievable goals from a micro perspective, right? You want to keep yourself motivated. The way you keep yourself motivated is setting those small goals, those bite-sized goals to keep you on track. And I'll convey this. Trust the process. You're not going to see results right away. Stay true to the process. Gabby brought a great example about, just when you're have a fitness journey, right? A lot of people don't know this, but I actually did a bodybuilding competition, right? A long time ago, probably like 3 or 4 years ago now. And what I learned and gained from that experience was not the day I competed of the competition, but it was the journey along the way, right? It was watching my body transform, being committed, being disciplined to seeing something that I thought that was unachievable. So allow yourself to create attainable goals, yet challenge yourself. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable, if you will, because that's how real results, that's how real results are achieved. And that's how you continue to push the needle forward to really get that solution to your problem that you're trying to create. And just find your niche. At the end of the day, find a niche and learn it, own it, and grow it in that order. And the reason I say is because you want to be obsessed when you find something that you really feel like you can make a difference, if you will, be obsessed with it. Learn everything about it. I like to say a saying where, if you're in a box, shatter that box. Think outside the box. Become obsessed with it, own it, make sure people understand that, hey, when it comes to this toolbox, this is my skill set. This is what I bring to the table, and this is what I offer. And once you do that, continue to grow it. And I promise you that you'll be known for being in certain meetings that you're not even being said of, but your name will be said of, and they'll be coming to you for whatever solution that you can create for the problem they have.
Yeah, I mean, look, I
Thanks,
think
Devon.
I think you're spot on, Devon, and you said something which I was gonna make a point about, but you've done it more eloquently than I probably would have, which is the whole discipline piece, because I think that's the most important piece around SMART goals is discipline and behaviors, and just that process of thinking is so important. Not just at the ideation stage of your journey, but throughout your journey. When you start to scale, when you grow, when you start to engage with investors or people that are going to ask very probing questions, your ability to understand the problems you're trying to solve, your ability to understand how the targeting works, how to be efficient is so attractive to anybody that wants to invest money into your business. I mean, I've had countless conversations with founders where actually, the best pitches are those that are short and sweet, really concise, and actually adopt and implement all of that smart goaling approach. So it's quite foundational. But I think my point, if I could leave you with any, is that think about it as something that as an approach to how to discipline yourself in terms of driving your business, but also just to kind of create certain behaviors so that you approach it with that mentality. Every single challenge that you face with your business, you think about it in a smart context, and I think that will put you in good stead.
Ish?
I think Chris has been waiting quite a while, so I'll let Chris go before me.
Okay, cool. Chris?
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
My question Hi. First of all, thank you everyone for putting this on. It's like I was saying to Adela, it really seems like a rock star group. Anyways, I wanted to ask, in terms of realism, in terms of what's realistic, obviously you guys are going to give us a sense of what that is, right? Like in terms of specific blockchain related efforts to give us a sense of timeline and scope and what resources we can check, or how we ask AI, maybe some prompts. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I obviously use AI in everything that I do. I mean, I create quite a bit of content and I gather quite a bit of content. I would say for realistic, I think that you have more support with this group than you realize. So,
I feel
um,
it.
yeah, I think if you knew, uh, I I would just say Fifth Work's goal, and I believe it is realistic, is to replace K-12 or supplement K-12 education for low-income communities, where it's, I would say, pretty much, I'm talking students within the millions. It is realistic for us to educate millions of people within 10 years. Um, so if I were to make a SMART goal for a 10-year SMART goal, I could do that. If I were to make one for a 1-year SMART goal, I could do that. I mean, my ultimate end goal doesn't change. Um, but I think when the problem was adequately defined is that for us, Fifth Work, there's simply too many middlemen in education siphoning the money, and the content exists. We went through this information age where there's just so much information now. We don't need new information from a lot of these traditional concepts like math. I don't need a
From
new
almost anybody.
teacher to teach me math.
Right.
Yeah, it's there. I can go to
Yeah.
ChatGPT and say, hey, using C++, code this for me, and it
Right.
can. So the content, the information is there. What we need now is application of content. So for Fifth Work, I don't need to hire teachers. I don't need to pay a middleman. I don't need to pay for books. I don't need to generate this content for myself. I can just link a YouTube video if I really wanted to teach a very specific thing. That very specific thing probably already exists. So, like you said, being efficient, I feel like what we are doing is leveraging micro payments, and we are leveraging the ability to pass through borders. I forget the name of it, remittance. Is that what it is? But we are leveraging the cash or digital cash abilities of BSV to reach past those borders. We are applying blockchain to the problem that is defined as there is way too much education, or there's way too much content, there's way too many people stealing money from the system, and the focus should really
And
be
from
on the
each other.
people, or from each other, yes. But the focus should be on the student. Who's doing the work? The student's doing the work. Why should a child be digging through, scraps, trying to, recycle something for pennies when I can give him pennies to be educated? And that helps the world,
Or
like,
fed.
or
Right.
fed. Yeah, and there's real, this is a real problem. This is an actual
Right.
problem. Like there are children right now not being educated because they have to work to support their families. That shouldn't exist. With as much
Or they're in
education that we
school and
have,
they can't concentrate because they have an empty stomach. Or they can't
well,
do their homework because,
you see the problem.
right.
You see the problem. The problem is there, and
Yeah.
Fifth Work, we're getting after it. The reality, like, or is the goal realistic? Yeah, I think it is realistic with the model that we have, with the technology that we have, with the team that we have and the resources that we have. Yeah, I can teach millions. I can reach every community. Yeah, it's absolutely possible. Now, how
Yeah.
soon could I do it? It depends on what goal I'm making. Am I trying to reach another 200,000 students by the end of next year, yeah, I could do that. I could easily do that.
I mean, really,
Yeah.
like my question is, I've got a number of ideas. I'm so grateful that Adela hooked me up. You have no idea.
No, this is, I mean,
Um,
even I have ideas. Like I kind of
of
want to like
course.
remove the students so I can use the professionals for myself. So
Nice.
no, no, I would never do that.
Well, I'm sure that there's no limit if we
Right.
have the right construct to encourage collaboration and remove the friction from it, right?
So
Bingo.
Because
yeah,
there's a
so
lot of people
let me go to
who, yeah.
the grading criteria. That's the grading criteria. So I think most of our brothers are back from and sisters, our brother are back from prayer. But this is the next topic. It's
So my one question was, are you going to provide a sense of realism around different blockchain initiatives in advance of us starting that deliverable that's due in 3 days?
well,
Is
oh,
it
go
okay
ahead.
if I chime in here, Nino?
No, of course.
Yeah, Kish.
Yeah, I have obviously Blockchain Censor, which is an education company, and that's obviously focused on education and bridging the gap between the knowledge of technology and application of technology. But I also run a venture studio. Inside that venture studio, there's about 35 companies that I'm running at the moment. And I'm also part of an ecosystem of other venture studios with over 100 companies, right? Um, and I think people overcomplicate technology and building businesses quite a lot. I think it's extremely simple. Running a tech company is no different than running a restaurant, right? There's simple needs. A business needs people going through the door, clients, right? It needs a product that looks good, tastes good, smells good, right? And it needs to be scalable, and these are the main things, right? If you have all of these pieces, then it's easier to replicate. And I think the reason why there's a huge failure rate of startups globally is because they do a lot of guesswork. So I think my advice would be to eliminate as much guesswork as possible and acquire all of the resources that you need, right? So on the 25th, I'll explain this in more depth and detail and give you guys actual application on this. But in terms of looking at what you need, right? In tech, it's all the same. It's the development, it's the marketing, it's the partnerships, and the client base, essentially the user base, right? So these are these different things that you need to acquire. Now, what in terms of application, the way you apply to actually be able to acquire that is through incentive structures and understanding how to incentivize people, and also be aligned with them in a common goal, right? I'll explain on the 25th how to build out your network, how to find and acquire the right people that are driven and have the right goals. Because what you need is a team of people to cover all of the angles and elements that you are not the expert in, right? So I think you don't have to understand technology on a crazy level. There's stuff that I'm working on that will blow your socks away. That is the latest innovation of technology. I don't understand it all the way to the end, right? I just understand the elements that are required to build that and execute on it, and I understand the bigger picture, right? So I think it depends what types of elements and areas you want to look at things from. But my whole thing in life is perspective, and I think you have to look at things from as much perspectives as possible to have a really clear understanding of a goal and an execution of something. Because I think if you narrow down your vision down too much, then you're narrowing your potential and you're narrowing how much you can actually apply that energy and that knowledge to something. So, that's why I think it's best to acquire the knowledge that you don't have, right? It's best to acquire the knowledge that you don't have so that those people can do what they're best at. And if they're doing what they're best at, you don't have to worry about it. It's covered, right? So this is why I think yes, you have to have knowledge of the industry. Yes, you have to have like a goal and whatnot, but it doesn't have to be you that's making that. You know, you have to acquire the right people that can do that, because you know I'm lucky enough to work with a lot of incredible people, but I'm more of the macro vision individual. You know, I'm like 15, 20 steps ahead of a lot of people, so I can actually make that real great goal happen and come to life, right? But I think you have to understand what you're good at, what you're like. Are you more of a creative individual? Are you more of a visionary individual? Are you analytical? And play on your strengths. And I think that's what I sort of want to add here, to for everyone who is like thinking, okay, I want to do this in this industry, but I don't know how to do it. You need to acquire the right individuals, and think about it as a restaurant. You need people through the door, right? You need the plate. Your plate needs to be clean, and the food needs to look all right and look
You
good,
need the
right?
DJ, man.
You need the music, yeah. You need the DJ. You need the tunes going, right? And you need to create an environment that is right for people to come through the door. And then you need to get people in the door, whether it's another community. It doesn't have to be you building a community. There's a community right here, guys. Look how much people are in the room. 72 people. That's 72 potential clients. That's 72 potential partners.
Yeah.
That's 72 potential companies to collaborate with. So, you know, looking at it from that perspective and understanding how to find these communities, you know, whether it's physical networking, whether you're on LinkedIn doing it, whether you're on Instagram doing it, however you're doing it, you have to understand how you're acquiring your customer base, you know. And I think the best thing and the best way to do that is partnerships, is collaborations, you know, because like without Brian, Nino, Fifth Work, you know, all of these partners here, I wouldn't have access to this element of you guys here in the room today, right? This is collaboration right happening before your eyes. So I think
Yeah.
these are the elements that I think will once you switch on to that, then it's like it's plug and play, you know. Think about that restaurant and understand I don't have to be the expert. It's okay not to be the guy that knows everything. You just need to find a guy that knows what you need. You need to find that legal badass. You need to find that guy who's incredible at building technology, right? You need to find that guy who's really good at community building and marketing. And you just need to make sure that everyone is aligned with the vision. And then it will churn itself, and before you know it, your businesses are growing. And that's what I wanted to add. So I'm gonna be
Yo,
quiet now.
bless.
Oh,
Kevin,
that's
you have something to say? Then
Yeah,
Evan. We've been
we got to
awfully
let that breathe for a second though, because what he said was outstanding and very profound, because he dropped a lot of gems in there. So hope
There's a lot.
everyone was definitely taking notes. I'll
Yeah,
say this.
respect and thank you. But my question remains. So I understand I don't have to be the one that does it. My big blind spot is how long do different things in different blockchains take, like man hour wise. So if I'm setting my goal, and yes, I understand. So if I'm managing developers and I have to multiply it by 3, what is that number I have to multiply by 3? And I understand maybe we need to collaborate on some of those things, and the timelines might be off. And if that's the case, then no problem. You know, we can deal with it once we have the vision and all the other stuff sort of articulated, right?
yeah. So
So,
I mean, oh no, go ahead.
Devon,
yeah,
Devon, Devon,
Well,
and
well,
Evan haven't said it.
let me go ahead and allow the stage for his question to be answered, and then I'll respond after that, because I want to make sure that he gets, you know, the proper
Okay.
respect due. So go ahead and let's make sure he does.
Okay, cool.
if we can, I mean, it can wait. It doesn't matter.
So I think that it's really up to you. You know, I don't know what your problem is that you're trying to solve. I don't know how how big your goal is. I don't know what how applicable the blockchain that you choose to use is going to be to solve your problem. I mean, it's just there are other blockchains that are better, that may be better. You know, it may impact your ability to develop. I know that I have for Fifth Work an amazing developer. So for us, I feel I set optimistic times for what I think he can build. And you know, I'm not a
What
technological expert.
blockchains, your blockchain guy, what
So
languages and what blockchains does he develop for?
honestly, I don't even know. He works for like a Fortune 500 company. He kind of does this on the
Okay.
side.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
he's good. I can tell you that. I ask them to do something and it's like instant. And I'm like,
I
yeah, that'll
appreciate
probably
your
take them a
transparency.
couple weeks. And oh no, of course.
Yeah.
I think I might be able to help out here.
Go ahead.
So, hi, it's just Michael here. So I work with tons of developers in the Solana ecosystem. And one of the things that's not just applicable to the Solana ecosystem, it's just applicable to development in general, right? Is something called a sprint. And most businesses that I've worked with, you do sprints in 4-week sprints, and then you do sprints in quarterly sprints. So if you don't know the actual time length that your supposed development's going to take, you would just break it down into estimated sprint, 1 month, with extension time of 3 months. That way is you've got this boundary of, okay, at first, I'm predicting that it's going to take 4 weeks to get this development done for one developer. However, I'm going to give the boundary of 3 months to get this development done, and that will be my extended sprint. However, if I now have additional developers to get this job done, then the sprint will decrease from 3 months, might not even be 1 month, it might be 1 week. So I would just say do it initially. That's the way that when I'm communicating with developers, I ask them, do you want to do this on a short sprint or a long sprint? Long sprint being 1 quarter, short sprint being 1 month. So that's your guideline. And then something that does happen typically with developers is sometimes things are finished way quicker. Sometimes a 1 month sprint is finished in 2 days. But sometimes a 1 month sprint, something that should take 1 month, actually takes 2 sprints, and you have to go back and go, okay, cool, we've run into some obstacles, so let's now put in our roadmap another development sprint. So that's probably what I would say there.
Thank you, Michael. Do you know if we have anybody on this call that is able to assess whether something would be a 1 week or a quarterly or an annual or multi-annual sprint?
Yeah, if I can do that, Keish can do that. But yeah. I would say again, regardless of what it is just put. I wouldn't try and condense it down into the time frames like that, because the thing that's going to make the difference is the resource that you've got applicable, right? So if you've got a whole development team of 10 people, then your sprint time automatically decreases. If you've got, and then again, if you've got a team of 10, but they're specialized in that specific thing, then it might reduce it even further. So it's one of these kind of it's one of these kind of things that you can't actually foresee. So in your roadmaps, you just have to kind of either use the one or the two, short or long sprint, and just put it in your plan as this would be a short sprint, this will be a long sprint estimated, and just leave it at that bit to start. And then when the developers come to take it on, that's when you can then go get their consultancy, and they'll go, okay, actually, you thought that this was a long sprint. However, based on our research, based on our resources, based on the manpower we've got, based on our expertise, we're going to now readjust your timeline. So I wouldn't get bogged down in it. I would just go with, if you're unsure, just go with everything being a long 3-month sprint.
Yeah, I think.
Okay, thank you.
Can I chime in on that, Mike? Because I think that was spot on, bro. And I think also, in regards to the developers themselves, it's really down to how lucky you are in finding a great developer. To be honest with you, because the developers, like Nino found, he landed on a gold mine there, right? And I think you have to understand that now the world that we're living in is changing completely, right? Anyone with internet and a computer or even a mobile phone can build the next biggest company to come and hit the world, right? So I think that it's an incredible opportunity and time now where there's people that are building that maybe don't have any technical expertise, that have taught themselves, right, from a young age, and now they understand technology but better because they don't have a traditional brain, right? Sometimes it's better that someone doesn't have a traditional brain because they think outside of the box and they do things outside of the box, you know. And sometimes it's better that you find someone that didn't grow up with a lot of money because they figured out how to make things work for free without, because they couldn't pay for it. They didn't have a choice. It had to work. You got what I'm saying? So you have to identify the right people as well. And I think what Michael is saying is an extremely good fail safe, but at the same time, I personally don't work with extremely tight timelines for the development. With when it comes to working with individuals that are highly skilled, I work on their time frame. I'm personally not in a rush. I have my resources lined up, right? But if I'm working with like my larger development teams where there's, you know, 15, 20 plus people on a project, then it's a lot easier to have time frames because there's fail safes, which is another individual. If someone fails, we have 14 other people, right? So it's a bit different if you're working with one developer or two, let's say two developers. They are socially different to entrepreneurial people, first of all, so you have to deal with that, right? Secondly, that's why I feel like it's better to work on a time frame scale with common goals, but also to understand where to drive them. So I think you have to gather knowledge and understanding of what you really want, and you know, have fail safes for developers to not run away and do things that you don't want them to do, because they will do that if you don't control them, because developers love to build new things. They just don't stop, and you need to kind of give them a little bit of direction, steer them in a little bit of the right way to say you're getting off the rail a little bit, you're adding an additional feature I didn't ask for, you're going here and you're trying to do this. So it's more controlling how they stay on track that will allow you to get things done quicker. And that's why you have to have an estimated sort of time frame and scale, because you're working with a person who doesn't have extremely great interpersonal skills as well. So it's a different, you know, that's why it's a bit, you know, you can't really say exact time frames, I would say, unless you have a really vast team.
Okay, could I ask this?
So
Hold up.
so
Sorry, Chris.
really quick.
Devon, please exhaust your point. Then we'll go back to the audience.
Yeah, I actually appreciate the two gentlemen speaking before me because it's a great segue into what I was going to say. So some pro tips that I'm going to share with you guys that I learned along the way on my journey is, for one, work smarter, not harder. What I truly mean by that is that, one, when you realize that you're going to be stepping into the space of entrepreneur or having that entrepreneur mentality, you have to have a competitive edge, right? That goes without saying. Well, how do you obtain that competitive edge, and how do you work smarter, not harder? The way you do that is by utilizing your resources that you have, utilizing the technology that's out there. If you have a certain idea that you're thinking about, look at what white papers there are. Look at what case studies that might be similar to your blueprint that allow you to see what their pitfalls were, some of the risks they took, some of the problems they faced, some of the solutions they created. This will help, you know, maximize the efficiency, which is what we're talking about. How can I maximize the efficiency? Utilizing your resources. And not only that, that's how I got to where I am today. I didn't have the traditional educational background. I have a non-traditional background. I got it out the mud, as they say. I just made myself acclimated. I started learning at a very young age in corporate America, and I just became a resource, a tool to be utilized. And again, going back to my point earlier, I became obsessed with it and just continue to refine my skill sets to continue to work smarter, not harder. Because at the end of the day, you want to be a value add, and you want to have that mentality. How can I be most valuable and how can I be most efficient? The way you do that is by understanding we live in a climate now where people only have a short period of time where you can capture their attention. How can I capture their attention right away? This is what I can provide. This is what I can do. This is what I know my competitors can't do. And I'm here to offer my services. So have that mentality, and I promise you, it will pay you back in dividends by working smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
Feel less. So, Evan, we haven't heard you today, man.
I was just texting him. I was like, are you still awake?
Evan, mic check 1 2, mic check 1 2. Evan, you snooze, you lose, man. On to the next.
Yeah, no,
As you
I'm
said,
sorry.
on to the next.
I'm recovering from a from a bit of a sickness, so I'm kind of not having as much talking at the moment. But yeah, I'm listening intently, and I'm happy to kind of help with more of the details side of things.
So
Okay.
I want you guys to know something real quick. So how do I know Evan? So we met in an elevator. He was speaking Japanese to somebody, and I also speak Japanese, and I didn't want to eavesdrop. So I told him, I was like, hey, just let you guys know, don't share any
Can you
secrets.
say how you said it, Nino?
I can if you want me to.
Yeah,
私も
please
日本
do.
語わかるからちょっと秘密なこと言わないでって。
Oh my God. Okay.
So anyway, so anyway, we actually met and we are very like-minded. We love to look at a solution and find the problems. And we like to look at something and engineer a solution that works. And I mean, I can't even count how many nights we've just sat there and talked about different things and how they should be done better. And it's what's the word? When you come across somebody, when you think you're good at something and then you meet someone who's better than you at it, it sits with you. And I feel like I can find problems with most, like, logically, with a lot of things, but I feel like Evan may outshine me with that. So I hope that when you guys are submitting these ideas, I want you to keep in mind that we are not here to shut you down. We're not here to filter you out. We can help you mold that idea into a better idea. So if you come at us with a proposition that has merit, we're not going to dismiss you because your timeline was off. We're not going to dismiss you because your solution isn't the exact right solution. We have the intent of molding your ideas into actionable ideas, if that makes sense. And we have the resources to make that happen. So I want you guys to know, I mean, most of you know Evan from the Bitcoin courses that you took. I mean, he's obviously a recognized and respected member, and his knowledge is real. So I want you to know, like you were just listening to Keish, they've got developers. Like if you have an idea, we can build it. We can apply the right technologies. We can get the right legal counsel for you. This is real. I want you guys to realize that. But sorry, Evan, I didn't want to take that away from you too much. But what I do want to say one more thing. I'm sorry. You're listening to the experts, and they're explaining to you the questions that we're asking you too. Like, what is a SMART goal? Why does it matter? What solutions already exist? How are you better than them? All of this boils down to an elevator pitch. If you look at the very bottom, create your own brief and persuasive speech. You get 30 seconds. Take all this information that you've gathered with this previous sections, these previous questions, and condense it down. And even if that's not right, that's okay. Like we can work with that. But this is something that we are going to be continually working on. Something else, the cash prizes for this, it's not cash. It's just crypto, right? It's a tool. You can sell it for money if you want, but it's meant to be a tool that you can use to develop something. It's a token. It's not a end all be all. The end all be all is that you have a team now that is working to develop you and your ideas. This is just part of it. Sorry, I feel like I'm on a soapbox. I don't. Let me turn this off.
Listen, yeah. The knowledge you're getting here, the gems, you're never gonna get them elsewhere. And today, this session is literally no long thing. So it's not gonna outstretch, okay? We're not going into the next hour. This session ends in the next 20 minutes tops. Tops. So ask your questions. There's gonna be part 2 of this. I think, Nino, This is smart goals. It's supposed to be the ideathon. So we're going to have a second session of this with a different panel because Kish is going to come in with Destiny on the 25th, I think, Kish. Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, we'll be there on the 25th.
Yeah. So let's keep it short and sweet. Like this session, you need to think about it. This is not a quick gun kind of session. Like this, you have to think about it, percolate on what's being said, then ask it in the Discord. Then the following session, you come back and ask it. Okay. Shamsuddin, I think you had a chance before. Just hold up. Let's talk to people first who haven't asked. We're still going to come back to you. Gabi, just 1 second. Jason, you have a question. Let me unmute you. Please ask your question. And anybody else who has questions, throw in your questions because at 8:30, we're calling it a wrap. Okay.
Sorry to interrupt there, Brian. I gotta go in about 2 minutes here because I've got to jump on a call. But I'm just letting everyone
that's
know.
fine. And Devon has to jump off as well.
Okay, amazing. Thank you, guys.
Oh, thank you for being here. It was really nice. I loved your input.
Yeah, follow Devon, Keish, Evan. Nino doesn't have no socials. He's a shadow ninja. Follow Leon as well on LinkedIn and them. So
I'll follow you. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yo, Callistus, we're seeing you in the building, Callistus from Nigeria. Callistus, big up yourself, first of all. Callistus is one of the biggest blockchain societies in Nigeria, and most of the students from Nigeria came through here. So, Callistus, you'll be speaking on the follow-up call tomorrow. So, anyway, let's go back to the questions. Jason.
Yeah, I'm here.
Sorry.
Okay.
And hold up. Guys, please, when you're asking these questions, please implement these things, yeah? Let it not be like those people who want to break up with their girlfriend or their boyfriend and Ting, and then you're telling them advice, but they still go and do the blasted thing you're telling them not to do. Okay? So please, focus. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Yes. So I looked at the worksheet. I've completed the first draft of it because have had my idea now. What I wanted to find out was how specific or technical would I have to go in my proposal since I'm not a developer, mostly an idea guy. Do I have to specify which blockchain I'd like to use or any of that? Hello, you heard me?
Yeah, heard you loud and clear. Nino.
I was just giving other people an option or the opportunity to speak. But you don't have to be super technical because I don't expect you to even know what the best blockchain is, but you do have a bunch of experts here that are going to see that you're trying to apply micropayments, right? Well, Solana's really good at that. BSV is really good at that. Bitcoin, not so much. So if you were trying to, when you're proposing your problem and you're proposing why the blockchain or what technology you're trying to use, we can kind of guide you in the right way. And it also depends on what developers we have available at the time, right? So, I only know like 3 or 4 really good BSV developers. Well, Solana may have developers available. And again, if it's faster, it works. So it's just that will be kind of, I wouldn't expect you to go too deep in that. But to know what technology you want to apply or what you're leveraging, micropayments, yeah, you should know that. You're trying to use data integrity, you should highlight that that's what you're going for.
All right. Thanks, Nino. Thanks, Jason. Gabi, you wanna take do you wanna allow us to take Fazui's question first and then you go in? And then Devon, I know you have to jump off. So you'll speak right after Gabi, okay? So Fazui, I'm unmuting you.
Yeah, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, everywhere.
Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity also to speak. I have this idea and I really don't know when is the deadline to submitting that idea and how do we submit the idea? So this is my question for now. Thank you.
Nino.
You want that to come to me? Okay. So Brian is going to shoot out the template. He's going to I imagine, email blast it to you. If he doesn't, I will from admin at Fifth Work. So you will get it by email, and we'll expect the response to however it is you got it. So if you're getting it through email, just respond to your email. We'll also probably put instructions on how to do that. Does that answer your question? We'll give you instructions when it comes out. Oh, the deadline. The deadline I believe we discussed is going to be the Saturday after the this Saturday actually. Should be this
Yeah,
Saturday, yeah? Yeah,
yeah.
this Saturday. So you're gonna have, this Saturday develop an idea as you're going through these courses.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a follow-up session tomorrow, okay, guys? Don't panic. Just think about things, yeah? Tomorrow we're gonna be back and we're still gonna we're gonna go through the same format as today. Leon, Devon, Gabriel have something to say. Gabby, you're hot on the mic. So you go first and then Devon and Leon. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to also talk about and give some advice, piggybacking off of what Devin said as well about, because many of you here, this is your first time getting into Web3, blockchain, and for some of you, you knew a little bit about it before, but now you're getting deeper into it. So I want to also add some, what I like to call some further healthy realism as well, into the equation as well. The first thing is that for this to work, guys, you're also going to have to, firstly, I love that Devin spoke about mentality, right? You're going to have to get rid of all. As Nino said earlier, there's technically no wrong answer when you're bringing a solution, right? You have to change your mentality, firstly, when seeking to be an innovator. And I love that Devin spoke about having a non-traditional background, because I'll use myself as an example. At the Early Bachelor Foundation, we have programs that reach over 10 million plus people around the world. But when that started? When I was 13 years old with my allowance. I started our first reading program. When I recognized that a lot of young people didn't understand literacy, they weren't very excited about reading, and I said, you know what, we can change it by rewarding them and getting them excited and making the books come alive. Now, how does that relate to what we're doing here? You have to be willing to start where you're at and then branch out. So you have to feel the fear and do it anyway. And it doesn't matter if you have a non-traditional background. Devin, myself, I am another example. I am a law student. So I'm currently in the process of studying to be an attorney. But I have the largest and highest awarded law program of its kind in the entire world. How does that happen? Most people would have waited, right, until they were attorneys to begin. There are no rules of innovation. You can see a problem, diagnose it, and start from there. So I want to drop some gems on, in terms of thought process and how you can do that. So the first thing is LinkedIn. All right. LinkedIn, as Brian said, do not be like that one guy or that one girl that that receives the gems and does nothing with it. Okay? LinkedIn is going to be your best friend. Now, I come from Barbados, small island. Put it in perspective, our population, the sum total, is just under 300,000, which is a small town in most countries. Okay? So that's to put in perspective for you. And we've been able to reach millions of people. Brian, what's crazy? Brian and I were just laughing at the fact that we've never met in real life. We've never met in real life, right? We've all of our interactions have been strictly virtual up until this point. But how do we connect? Via the internet. Doesn't matter if your internet is spotty or not. You can send a message, right? While it's on. Go on LinkedIn, and here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna type in the skills, the actual skills of the people that you need. So
I met Devon through LinkedIn as well. Just 3 days ago, through a mutual friend.
So that should put things in perspective, by the way.
Yeah.
To emphasize that point.
Yeah. Let me give them these gems really quickly because you said no long thing, right? So what you're gonna do, guys, all right? And I need everybody to listen. So put listening in the chat if you're listening. This is how you're gonna master LinkedIn. If you need a developer, if you need somebody in Web3, legal technology, whatever you need for your project, you're going to put each skill separately into the LinkedIn search bar. And the top people that come up, you're going to message them. And you're going to tell them what you're interested in doing and that you would like to have a virtual coffee with them. Now, I have never said this publicly in real life before. This is the first time I've ever given any part of my strategy in this in-depth outside of the FemLet's cohort. So you know how much I love Brian and what we're doing here, okay? So this is what you're going to do. Type their skills in, the skills that you're looking for, put it in LinkedIn, and when those people come up, you're going to send them a message. And the reason why I spoke to mentality before I got into giving you this very critical gem is that a lot of people get very scared because you may see, oh, this person has 2 million followers, 24,000. It does not matter. You would be surprised at how open most individuals that are truly dedicated to innovation, how actually invested they are in finding talent and new ideas. Because let's be real, if they work with you and discover the next big thing, it'll probably make them very rich also. And also add a very positive spotlight to them as well. Let's just be real, right? It's still business at the end of the day. So here's all, it doesn't matter if you think you're just starting, you are bringing value with innovation as well. So that's what you're going to do on LinkedIn. And that's what's going to allow you to find the people who are going to make you take the next step and do it well. So this is how it's, so it doesn't matter what background you're coming from. It doesn't matter how young you are, how old you are, use LinkedIn to your advantage. And then what I'll say as well is don't just go with the, introduction, let's have a chat. Also know what you're going to ask them. So take a moment, prepare like 5 or 6 questions, your burning questions, make them as specific as possible. You can also head over to our good friend in technology, ChatGPT, run your question through ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT how you can make your questions more specific to Web3 or to the skills that this individual has before the meeting. So that when you get into the meeting, you are hard hitting, you're getting the questions answered that you need, and you're getting the information that you need. And this is how you're going to get that real insider information. And it doesn't matter if some people say no, keep going until you get your yes. And this is coming from, and this is how I've built my networks. This is how Devin, Leon, Brian, as Brian said, he met Devon 3 days ago, and you guys are benefiting from it. Brian and we met on the internet as well via Instagram as well, discussing legal technology. I know we're working together with NLT and the larger Crypto Mondays franchise as well. Okay, so this goes back to what Kisan and everyone was saying, finding your team.
Bless Gabby.
So this help.
Yeah. So Devon, I know you have to go. You want to come and give your last takeaway and all that? Then also do the same.
Here's my last takeaway I'll share with you guys. For once, just to start off, this is an amazing network of community that they've created here. I mean, I wish I had this when, I was just starting out in my career. But I'll say this, understand that each and every one of you are your walking business card. And what I mean by that is this, have a clear understanding of what your mission statement is, have a clear understanding of what your values are, and have a clear understanding of what you want your vision to be. And this goes for your brand, for yourself, but also what you're trying to create, right? Let people get excited about it and have non-negotiables. Believe in the brand that you're creating, believe in the product that you're creating, be 10 toes down, as they say, in what you're trying to bring into this world. Understand that what you have to offer could change the world, and you have to believe in that. But you have to be that walking business card in order for people to believe in you. So own it. Remember I said, believe it, own it, grow it. That's what I'll leave with you guys today.
Yo, mad. Yo, Leon, drop it like it's hot, man.
How do I follow all that amazing, insightful stuff?
No, for real, man.
My point would be this, and it probably chimes with the whole ideathon piece and what you should be doing at the outset. So for me, what I like to see when I'm working with founders is that they've really thought about the problem they want to address, that they've put some time into the solution, because actually that's important, because the clarity of the problem and the solution that you have is going to enable you to have a healthy working relationship with your developer, because you can instruct them far more clearly because you've got a good grasp of what you're trying to achieve. But I think the most important piece that sometimes slips, and I to implore everybody to try and focus on, is to really emphasize what the value proposition is going to be in delivering that solution. Why will customers like it? Why is it? What value are you giving to them in addition to solving the problem? And how does that solution give them that value? And I think if you can touch upon that in some of the ideation stage, that will put you in a good starting position. That would be my last few thoughts on this.
Bless you, Leon. Evan, I know you're a bit unwell. you want to throw in your 2 cents before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I'm just really looking forward to seeing all these different ideas. I think it's gonna be wonderful. So yeah, this is an exciting part of the. Well, I mean, it's all been very exciting, but this will be extra exciting.
Bless Evan. Nino.
Okay, I'm back. I'm back, everyone. I know you've heard a lot from me today, but
Hold
we're gonna
up
do this again tomorrow.
Before you start, Devon, if you have to jump off, by all means, we respect your time. Thank you so much for coming through. Leon, if you also press for time, but if you want to hang around, that's fine. We really are grateful for your time. Yeah.
Thank you again, guys. I appreciate the invite and I look forward to future conversations with everybody.
Yo, Devon, you're coming back again on.
Absolutely. You better believe I need this energy again. I can't start my day any other way now, man. This is what I need now. So I'm looking forward to it.
I think we need on Thursday. I think
we need that Gabrielle quality intro.
Right, man. Need to trademark that for real.
That's it. Should set the standard very high.
Sure. All right, guys. Have a good one.
Bless, man. Cheers. Yo, and then I'm also gonna open up the mic for the to the students because some of our students have some real motivation. Like like Obakeng, David, and them, Camilla. There's a gang of students here, Shamsuddin and them. Like when these guys have their mics on, they're always spitting fire. Jason, Dominique, and them, like you all know yourselves, man. So if you have something to say, question or anything, we're gonna continue this tomorrow, but we're gonna allow you like 10 minutes also so that we can engage you so that you feel like you've also gained some value and knowledge from this. Yeah. So I always have time for my people. So Leon, bless. Okay. Thank you so much, Leon. Okay. So anybody else? So Nino, and then to the students, like, notes today, questions tomorrow. No scene. Respect that, Dominique. Mad respect. So
I would just say the sooner you get on it, the better your idea is going to be. You're going to have a rough draft, and then you're going to have a more refined draft, and then a more refined draft, and then a more refined draft, and then you're going to submit it to us, and then we're going to get back to you. And so, it's just the more time you get into it, the more you can take away from it, the sooner you'll have questions for the experts. That is, this boot camp is a very accelerated thing. So it's not long. You only have so much time with these experts. And I mean, personally, I think I talked to a lawyer 3 years in after I first made Fifth Work. It took me 3 years to actually finally start talking to a lawyer. You guys don't even have products yet, and you're already talking to lawyers and getting legal counsel. This is amazing. So you get your questions now. Start forming your ideas. Try and get as much feedback as you can now while you have it, because it'll be slower after the fact. Like how often do you open up Discord and see if anyone's dropped chats, or how often do you actually meet someone at a blockchain conference? Every other year. So it's fast right now. Take advantage of that. Use what little time you have now while you can, and then bring your questions tomorrow so we can get that communication happening faster. That's all I got.
Thanks, Gabby. I don't know what to say. I personally
Gabby,
inspired, motivated. Like it just feels, today was a really deep session. Bless.
Gabby needs to end the session. I can't match that. I can't.
Guys, first of all, thank you so much to everyone. Some of our partners have left already, but we sprinkled them with love and enveloped them with so much love and care before they left, and gratitude for being here. So, we just want to take this time out again to say thank you to all of our participants. If you're here in the Zoom or if you're on our YouTube as well, thank you so much for coming to yet another edition of NLT, No Long Ting. So before we go, let me see in the chat. If you learned something today and you got some gems, drop gems in the chat. GEMS. Gems in the chat. If you learned something today, I see the gems coming through. Okay, Chris. You know,
Gabby,
and
trust me, if
Hey,
Oba Keng hasn't taken the mic from us today, he's really thinking hard. Literally, if Oba Keng and David aren't causing ruckus here, this was a deep, deep session.
gems upon gems. Oh, we are seeing. Okay, almost over gang. All right, so everyone, Ruth, everybody is saying we are so grateful that you guys learned so much today. So remember, now you've taken your notes, you've got the gems, and now it's time to really sit. Brian is going to send the PDF with everything that you heard today. So you're going to take those gems, you're going to follow the PDF and begin to, bring your ideas. And remember, you're going to come back tomorrow and ask further questions again and get more insight. So thank you so much for being here. Give yourselves a round of applause and we will see you again